What it do, world? It's your boy TWiZ, and welcome to 5 Minutes of TWizdom. 5 minutes of tips and tricks to help grow your music brand. Today we're in Texas, baby. You know, they say big things happen in Texas, and so, you know, we just had to come check it out, see what is good. I'm here with the team today. My partner, MOREEN, my partner, Fresh, and my partner, Flow Master E, man. What's happening, y'all boys? Y'all doing all right?
Oh, man, what up,
hey, man. Blessed to be here, man.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for having me. Again, you feel me?
Back again, no doubt. So today we're going to talk about just getting the perfect mix. Is that even a real thing? Is that a myth? Or how do you go about getting a certain mix done that's pretty well?
Yeah, man, I mean, you know, a good mix is definitely possible, and with the right tools is more probable. I've heard of stories where, you know, people missed out on the placement because the reference and the beat and everything was just out of whack. They loved it, but doing the home stretch of like an album or a project or whatnot,
right?
You know, it just they tank it because they need something already kind of pre-mixed or whatnot.
Right.
And a lot of people don't know that, man.
Wow.
That's why we're here today, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's deep. Fresh, you're like a mixing guru, man. So what you got on mixes?
And I would say there's never a perfect mix.
True.
I would say there's never a perfect mix. It's what our ears are accustomed to. It's like we were saying earlier, I think it was like 2 days ago.
Right.
I saw somebody mix a hip hop track, and he only figured out what the key essentials were. He didn't touch any faders. He didn't touch any faders or anything like that. All he did was just put processing on the things that needed the more attention. And the reason for that being was when the artist goes and raps over the song,
right,
the artist wants to hear the exact same song whenever they come out. They only want the enhancement, like, you know, small minor tweaks. But if you change anything within the mix, like let's say I need a high pass filter here, a high pass filter there, it might sound too tinny or it might sound different, and then I guess you could say the A&Rs aren't going to like it, or the main producer over the track isn't going to like it because you pretty much altered it to what you think, and it's not about what you think. It's all about what the client thinks.
Right. MOREEN, being that you dabble inside the music realm and everything like that, and you're just starting to build your empire when it comes to the production stuff. What are some things that you notice as a consumer listening to music? If the mix is good or bad, what are some things that you might check out?
Man, I can tell you from my own personal experience. You know, I let y'all hear, you know, my little piece of some stuff that I did literally 10 years ago, 12, 13 years ago. And if you don't know what you're doing, you can tell when you listen to somebody's mix, and it's just like, okay, well, obviously he didn't know, like what you just said about compressors and faders and things like that. I didn't have a clue about it. So you can tell when, you know, something isn't properly mixed as a consumer, as a listener. And then for me, just being around these fellas for the last week alone, man, I feel like I'm gonna come back in another week like a producing guru right here. So I'm just soaking it all up, and I'm just a consumer of this right now. So I appreciate you all
straight up
showing me the ropes, bruh, for real.
So E, really quick question. So I know we're talking about compressors and EQs and things like that. If you're an artist, you kind of don't really care about that kind of stuff. You just want to make sure your stuff sounds good. So what could you tell an artist about a mix to get them to really care about it, so they can have a great product from a producer engineer standpoint?
Split testing, you know, A and B. You know, take the product that you have at the moment, and compare it with, you know, what if, let's say that song sounds like Drake's Kiki, Do You Love Me? I forgot the name of the song, but you know, take your song and take that song and compare the two. Don't compare it sonically, but compare it technically when it comes to the sound or whatnot. And yeah, you know, just split test it and make sure that, frequency wise, you know, it compares.
Right.
You know, and I mean, obviously Drake had his stuff mixed and mastered in a multi-million-dollar studio. But,
yeah, of course.
You know, with technology nowadays, you know, you can pretty much kind of get the same thing almost, you know, if not the same.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Right. So, Jay Fresh, being that he said that, you know, Drake records in like a multi-million-dollar studio, and you could definitely tell the high quality of equipment that they use. What is it about equipment? Do you think the investment in equipment is that much of a difference, or do you think that it's more so how you use basically the equipment you got to get a great sound, or is there no such thing as like that really perfect sound when it comes to that?
When it comes to equipment, there is no this is the perfect equipment.
Right.
There is no this is the perfect equipment, because there are people who are making millions of dollars off of stuff in home studios,
right,
and they don't have the $1 million equipment, and still making great records,
right,
versus just getting the equipment. As far as that sound that you're looking for, only you can create, because you're your own person, and 9 times out of 10 the fans are going to be looking for a completely different sound,
right,
versus just, you know, something that just seems different or sounds like something else. Because 9 times out of 10, if it's something else, nobody's coming back because you sound like something else.
True. That's cool. That's what's up. That's what's up. So, Jamie, being that you say you just learned a lot in the production and in the mixing world like that, what kind of equipment do you recommend people to get started? You know, just on the music tip.
Listen, whatever kind of equipment you can afford.
True.
You understand, at the end of the day, as I've been shown from these gentlemen right here, I literally just purchased my home studio this week, 2 or 3 days ago with these gentlemen. I just got word that it arrived today. So I'm anxious to get back to it so I can get my hands on it. But it wasn't a huge investment on my behalf yet, because I'm not to a point where I feel like I need the biggest speakers or the top of the line equipment. But from what these gentlemen have shown me over the last couple of days, you don't need all of that stuff. All you need to do is have a little bit of knowledge about how to tweak things, how to make things sound up to par with where everything else is at. And you can do that simply from learning from other people that are, like my guy Jay Fresh. He's putting tutorials out to help us learn how to use the lower budget tools that we might have to add up to, you know, that that same sound as, you know, things that might be the equivalent of higher, expensive, more expensive equipment and things like that. So do what you can. Get advice first, like I did, because if it would have been on me, as y'all already know, I was like, look, bro, I tried to get this a year ago, so I'm just what I need to get, I'm online looking at it like, yeah, this right here, $700-800. They're like, nah, bro, you can get something much cheaper, a bundle actually. So they helped me out. So get advice from somebody that actually is in the business that will be willing to share that with you, and you'll come out with exactly what you need.
That's word. So a lot of times as engineers, you know, we struggle with getting the vocals to sound like really, really good. So I know sometimes, me personally, I may have recorded some great vocals, but you know, when I end up mixing it starts to sound a little muddy just because of the type of EQ, or maybe just knowing the appropriate settings on EQ. Can you throw a little bit of some gems on about how the EQ will mix when you're getting it started on the track?
I got a question for you around that same subject too,
okay,
Mr. TWiZ.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
You know, life comes around full circle, and you know, this might sound philosophical, but I like to, as all engineers do and should, you know, I like to focus on the vocals when I'm mixing low, mixing quiet, because you know, to go back to the whole life is full circle comment, when you're arguing with someone and your frequencies are just through the roof, you're nothing is really translating. It's hard to translate, at least, you know, to get your point across or whatnot. So, you know, with the voice being an instrument in itself, and with the voice being the main instrument in the song, I like to mix low in order to have that, to have it pierce through the track, because when it's low, you can hear things much easier than when it's turned up. So, and then, but obviously, you know, touch it up even more, mixing loud or whatnot. But I really like to focus on the vocals initially, mixing quiet.
No doubt. Go
Hey, Mr. Hey, Twizzle.
What's up, bro?
So we spent a little time this week working on a few projects or whatnot. So it's similar to the question you asked him. So when you have someone like we might have dealt with this week with that the vocals.
K-flat?
The vocals. Hey, a new note. K-flat. Y'all remember that? So when you have a vocalist that you've already basically completed the project as far as their involvement with it, they can't come back, they're out in another state. You can't do anything besides fix what's already been delivered.
Right.
How do you fix that? Because I watched you turn a K-flat note into an actual note. So how do you go about, like, is that something that you feel like for the artist, or you kind of like doing something that's kind of taken away from them because it's like, oh, well, that's not the way I sung it, or is it something that you feel like, nah, this is necessary because if I put that out there, like, your album.
I mean, we're gonna keep it 100, man. If it doesn't sound good, it doesn't sound good.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and as a producer, like, we know, and sometimes in the studio we may record vocals or something like that, and it may sound one way in the studio, but then when you actually sit down, like you said, you sit down in a nice quiet, turn it out, you're like, man, this is not appealing. So you try to get it as much as possible to sound more humanly realistic, as you can. Now, there's a lot of plugins out there that can do that nowadays. You know, back in the day, you would have had to call that person, and be like, hey, you got to come back.
You got to reshoot that, which means a little bit more money to come back to the studio. Exactly. Time is money, baby.
Either that, or basically, back in the day, you would have to stay at the studio until the engineer probably did some kind of light mix or something like that, and let you know, hey, we got to redo this or whatever. The studio sessions were longer.
How often have you had to fix a K-flat note?
Listen, it's been a few times, especially with artists that are up and coming.
Right.
The ones who may be singers, they want to be inspiring singers, but they don't have any like vocal coach or anything. They're coming straight from the pews behind the pastor, singing and stuff like that, or just trying to get started. They just don't really have it. Like, you could probably sing monotone really, really well, but when you start hitting ranges and stuff that you don't normally hit, some of those notes don't hold. They don't hold. So they got plugins, like I said, like Melodyne is a really good plugin. They revolutionized the WoW. Yes, Flex Pitch on Logic Pro.
Nice.
You can do that. That's a lifesaver. That's actually what I used to help that. Waves bundle, you know what I'm saying? Just a bunch of different plugins nowadays. It's kind of no excuse to kind of sound bad these days,
Tips and tricks.
There's a producer friend of mine, and he has it, but that's not what he uses.
Right.
And he showed me this trick, and I never thought to do it this way until I had a gentleman who he just couldn't know. He didn't know a key if it hit him in the face. Like K-flat all the way. So,
the whole track?
the entire track.
This is just one little part of a note we talking about. You talking about the whole track. Oh, man.
Entire track.
Who did that go on?
Man.
So a session like that, is it more so like, you know what? Give me my money back, or get your money back. Go ahead and go about your way, or is it I'm gonna just make it happen?
At the time, I would have loved to do that.
Yeah.
But I recently got married, and when your wife is hungry, she hungry.
Hey,
you can't.
Right.
You can't just
gotta get that check. Okay.
Go get some ramen noodles.
This man know women.
Right.
This
This man knows women.
Good answer.
So I basically had to tune each one, but the way he did it was, and Logic has this, and so does Pro Tools. He got the auto-tune plugin in there,
Right.
but he only keyed out certain parts. So, like, let's say the guy was singing C, D, and E flat.
Right.
Every other note he blacked out to where it would only pitch those three notes.
Right.
And then he'd reprocess it as a new audio file. So it's as if they came back in and sung it the correct way.
Yeah, that's deep.
But he pitched it to where it sounded natural.
Right.
It didn't sound like a T-Pain fixing a note. It sounded natural. And he did that with the auto-tune plug-in, and then I did that again with the Waves Tune Real Time plug-in, which is really really natural. It just tiny measures. It doesn't sound too auto-tuney. It's just tiny measures. And I had to do that for each entire phrase.
Yikes.
It's tedious.
Yeah.
Once it comes together, you're kind of just like, yes, there's a project.
Yeah.
Time-wise, what is that like? So they can understand, like, when you're dealing with somebody who comes in to get it done versus somebody who you have to literally
Melodyne, like tedious, tedious, or
like him saying he had to do every note.
Every single note, like I would have a phrase. So if I was saying, I got sunshine.
Right.
So I got those two notes. Process that. Sunshine. Those two notes. On a cloud. Those two notes. D-Day. Like
that's like a 4-minute song. So how long does that take you to edit?
You didn't do that in one day.
No.
That's what I was trying to get to. How long did that take you, brother?
Well, you gotta take breaks.
Oh,
definitely.
You have to
Ear
take
fatigue
breaks.
is real.
It is so real, and I heard a producer say this, and it's crazy because I'm realizing that the people that I look at on YouTube or look at just in general at a high place have similar stories to me.
Yeah.
Sean Devine was talking about something that happened to me literally 2 months ago.
Right.
I was real emphatic about cleaning my ears, but I didn't know how to clean my ears. So I would put the earwax in, but it would never come out, like the earwax remover, and I'd hear it working, but I would never wash it back out. So it just stayed there until it kind of surrounded the wax and made it into a small ball.
Okay.
And I thought I was getting it out with a Q-tip, to where one night I pushed it a bit too far. I woke up in the morning, I pushed it a bit too far, and I'm thinking it's just my ears clogged because of water. I'm jumping up and down. I can't hear out of my left ear at all. I'm freaking out because I'm like, look, I'm trying to get up here. These are my monies. Like, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. So I ended up going to the doctor, and the doctor looked in my ear and he said, you pushed a ball of wax into your ear canal. If you leave that in there, it's going to get an ear infection. You might lose your hearing. So what we're going to do is wash your ears out. Now, because it was in there, it was a bit more pressure, so it did kind of hurt.
Yeah.
But after it came out, it's like, that was my first time hearing.
Yikes.
So ear fatigue, it's not only just because your ears get tired, it's also because it builds up wax to where you can lose hearing. Like E said it best when he said, you mix at low levels. Always mix at low levels. Don't just blast it until you get ready for the mastering stage. Because you can't make good decisions when you're blasting.
Yeah.
You make better decisions when you can't hear it, because it's like, if you can't hear it, of course you're going to turn it up.
Yep.
So that's the best decision. Okay, I'm going to just turn it up slightly versus I'm blasting it, I hear everything, okay, I don't need to make any changes, and then the mix sounds terrible.
Yeah, most definitely.
Man, I've had, respect the technicians, the producers and engineers, man.
Do it.
Because I'm telling y'all, I've had a person come in singing K flat. a K flat artist, and at the time, I don't know. Me personally, I don't like auto tune. Like, you know, if I could do it naturally, make it sound as natural as possible, and do like the Melodyne route, I'll do that. And process the vocals. They left with the recording, and when they came back, they had an opportunity to just, you know, sing that song over and over again and get accustomed to it. So when they came back and they sung it over the instrumental, they sung it much better than before because they had an opportunity to hear themselves, in the right pitch. So, you know, as us as technicians, we add so much value, within the studio and indirectly outside the studio. So You know what I mean? Respect us.
And I feel like at the end of the day, as he was saying, like, you got to understand the people that you're working with. You know, if you come into this person, you obviously should be trusting that person. So understand that this person is here to help you produce a better product. So, you know what I'm saying? If they're telling you that this doesn't sound right or we need to do this to it, I'm pretty sure it's their judgment in making a better finished product for you. So just be mindful of the people that's putting in work for you.
I got a question for all of you. Okay. When is it right to turn away a client?
I'll start. I'm a bit of a goon, y'all. I'll let you know right now. Like, I'm gonna have a specific, like, because I've been in the entertainment business for a while, not necessarily producing, but just the way I do business, period. Like, it's gonna be a certain order of the way we're gonna conduct business. Right. Meaning, if you show up on time, you my kind of people. You don't show up on time, it's gonna be a fee. Like, you know, so we got certain things that's in place that if you follow suit, we're good. But if it's something that's already in place and you don't follow it, we got a problem. And I simply just don't work with people that don't follow suit because it just doesn't mesh well with my lifestyle, the way that I roll. It knocks me off a schedule. I got other people behind you and things like that. So you have to follow suit. If I have a specific order, we can rock. If you're not good at being on time and things like that, I'ma just turn you down because I don't necessarily need it. I got other things going on, so that's just me, myself, and I.
Yeah. What about you?
You know, all money ain't good money, whether you selling your soul for it or whether, you got, baby girl down the street that want to do her first song. Yeah. I mean, maybe because I'm a spiritual guy, vibes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. When you come to the studio, or not even that. Like if I've known you, had the opportunity to get to know you beforehand, right? I might not even work with you because your vibe is off. You know? Right.
Like, straight up.
Because they're real buff.
It's energy, man.
Yeah, exactly.
A certain energy that you want to be around.
After they leave and, you know what I'm saying, bless the room again. Right. Like, hey, man. Like,
it's just not worth it. It's not worth it at the end of the day.
Get out of here.
TWiZ?
No, what do you think?
So, I agree with the all money ain't good money thing. As an entrepreneur, sometimes that can be a bit of a struggle because, like you said, like, you got to eat, pay bills, take care of family, whatever you got to do what you got to do. But at the same time, the company you keep really creates your value. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't have just anybody come to you and work with you because that you'll be associated with that, even if you're not a part of that. They'd be like, oh man, they're this type of way, and that's the kind of clients that he likes to go to, and not like, no, I don't need that. So you're gonna miss out on some money, but at the same time, there's a market for everything nowadays, and there's somebody in the world that relates to you that's gonna purchase your products and purchase just basically your worth, So that's. I think it could turn around, especially in the music industry. If I can tell you're not spitting your lines right and you're not taking yourself serious, if you don't take yourself serious, why should I?
Yeah.
And it's all about respect for me. So you know what I'm saying. You're gonna respect what we trying to do.
Man. Like you said, punctuality.
Yeah.
Like. F the money, it's the time. That's one thing. That's the only thing we can't get back.
Right.
It's sometimes opportunity, but even then, like it's like if you ain't respecting what I cannot get back, what the fabric of life, time.
Yeah.
No, you know what I'm saying.
It's not that simple for me.
It's not happening. Really quick, one more technical question.
Oh, yes, sir.
A lot of upcoming audio engineers, they always ask me about compression and what does. The different parameters of the compression. So you got your ratio, your tag, your release. What can you tell me about? Well, tell them about compression that can help somebody who's just getting started and understanding.
Like myself, somebody like me. That's just getting started, baby.
If you think about compression,
there you go.
All right, like an air compressor, if you will. All right, your threshold. Let's say this is a line. This is your threshold. Okay. So this is kind of like a limitation, but not really. Anything above my hand, that compressor is bringing it down. Anything below my hand, that compressor is bringing up towards my hand.
Right.
Okay, that's what a compressor does. Now, your attack is how fast your transients are hitting. So if I have a fast attack, I'm cutting off those transients. But But if I have a slow attack, those transients are coming in hard.
When you say transient, break it down for the people who don't know.
Because I'm listening to you like,
it sounds good.
Transit, what's that, a train, bro?
If they don't, I'm talking about to break it down.
So a transient is like okay, if you look at a waveform, that initial hit on the waveform. So the waveform starts with a horizontal hit, and then it slopes down.
Right.
That horizontal hit is the transient. All right. So if we're thinking about a kick drum, we take the first kick on the kick drum. That transient is here and then slows down. All right. Now the attack is the initial hit. So if I'm got a fast attack, I'm not going to hear that initial hit. It's gonna sound like something's missing. Right? If I slow it down, I'm gonna hear that initial hit, but I guess you can say that sustain that's coming through, that's gonna be up at the same level as that attack as well.
Right.
So that's where the release happens. So that's what cuts off that.
Right.
If I just want the initial attack, my release is gonna be fast. But if I want some more sustain, I'm slow the release down.
When would be a good time to have a longer release?
A longer release, it comes with not rappers. You want that fast because they're speaking in fast, like rudiments.
Right.
I would say with singers.
True.
Singers.
Notes.
Exactly. Synthesizers, pianos. You want a consistent sound. You don't want a different sound. And there's two reasons why you use a compressor: to enhance or create. To enhance or create. Because you could make a completely different sound with a compressor.
Right.
Now, there's one more thing on a compressor: the ratio. Now, your ratio is going to be 1-to-1. Now, for those of you who didn't do well in math, for every one time I hit the kick, my output is going to be 1. Okay? Now 2-to-1. For every 2 times I hit the kick, my output is going to be 1. So if you're getting it, that means the harder the input, the output stays the same. So if I have basically a 20-to-1 ratio, I'm crushing the crap out of that kick.
And you can tell too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm crushing the crap out of that kick, especially if I have my threshold at a specific. I'm crushing it in order to get 1 kick.
Right.
So that's my take on compression.
No doubt.
That's a general take on compression. Yeah.
Message.
He's like, look.
That's like coming after Whitney Houston in a talent show. I mean,
Hey,
you got it, brother.
I definitely can't say nothing about it. I just learned some new stuff.
There you go. So shoot, me personally, I may go back and watch the episode too, and I'm sitting right here. No doubt. Never stop being a student of the game. Like,
Never. Always be a student.
Always, man. Because
of all games.
People know that you don't know, or y'all may know similar things, but it's always a different technique. So always be open. Don't think that's one thing I could never really say. A lot of people think that they better than me and stuff like that. No, it's just they know different ways. It doesn't mean that nobody is better. Just learn what you learn.
They have more resources.
Exactly. There are different
the moment
resources.
you begin to think you know enough, like that's the moment you begin to lose, or
Facts.
you have already lost.
Facts. I love to learn, bro. Like I get excited when I don't know stuff. It's quite the opposite. Like, oh man, I didn't know that. That's what's up.
Right.
You learn something, and then you pass that on.
Yes,
one thing this week that I can appreciate with everybody is everybody has a different, just a different thing that they do, and they're able to pass that knowledge on to somebody else, and that extension goes deep, especially with business owners. You know what I mean? They don't. They just think they're in competition, but behind doors, they probably shaking hands like, "Hey, bro, that's what's up. That's
how can I get a little investment?
Exactly.
Give me a little residuals coming in.
Exactly. So make sure y'all check that out, man, and just think, and then look at your circle. You know, if you feel like, you know, and we all got friends. I got homies that I've been down with forever and a day, but it's just certain things. Sometimes you just have to build a circle on certain things. All right. So like in music, if your friends are not really into music like that, get you some musician friends, bruh. I promise you, they'll keep you on your toes. They'll keep you busy. They'll keep you learning new things and stuff like that. Not saying you gotta lose your old friends, because I love my homies to death. You know what I'm saying? We knew each other since like high. Right. But for my growth in my industry, I have to get around people who are in that same category for me to be successful.
If you really want to know how your mix really sounds, get around a musician.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Because you can be around somebody that you've been kicking with for years, and they'll be like, "Yo, bro, that sounds great. That's my favorite one you did."
Yes,
and
man.
It's not just because my best friend is like that. He boosts me up all the time, not because he doesn't like it or not. He just doesn't know what he's looking for. It sounds great to him because I went to school for it. I should know what I'm doing, so it sounds great to him. But if I go around my friend Joe King, yo, your snare's not hitting right. Yo, your kick's not hitting right.
Somebody gonna tell you what it is.
Right. Yo, your compression's a bit too hard. Come back on the compression. And then you kind of get offended by it. He was just like, look, my best friend just said it sounded good. Why are you coming at me like that? You kind of got that Denzel. That Denzel face where you're kind of upset, but you have to take constructive criticism. That's what's going to build you, because 9 times out of 10 these people are already in the industry, and the people that are in the industry and they're giving you advice, take it. Take it. I met with Montel Jordan on one track that I wrote for a gospel album. I was gonna release it and make it a single, but I really wanted his input, what he thought about it, because me personally, I just thought it was too simple. Right. And my conclusions were correct, because when I went to him, he was like, if you were to send, he said this song sounds great, but if you were to send this to Kurt Franklin's gonna make it into a Kurt Franklin track. Like, you only have 2-part harmonies. It was stuff on the creative end. It wasn't anything about the mix. It was stuff on the creative end. So he was basically telling me to go back to pre-production and add some stuff as far as like harmonies and stuff like that, and then re-release it and see how that sounds.
That's what's up. Gems, man.
Come on, man.
Gems. Well, you know, that's enough gems for today. Gotta stay tuned, man. Hey, y'all tell everybody where they can find you guys, man.
You can find me at on Instagram at FlowMasterE. That's all spelled correctly. FLOWMASTER and the letter E. Barua.
There you go, bro.
You go ahead.
Yo, I am, and that's IAM. JMOREEN. I am J Moreen. That's on all social media platforms. Get at your boy. That's to get addicted, boy.
You know it.
JFresh262 on YouTube, at JFreshBeats with the Z on Instagram, at JFreshBeats with the Z on Facebook. You can also go to our Patreon page if you're really serious about it.
Hey,
it's only $1.
That's it.
It's $1, bro.
Only $1.
Come on, man.
And it gets you access into stuff. You can go to that. It's at JFreshBeats with the Z. Only $1. But if you're really serious, you can get in our discussion panel for $5. And then that gets you some real gems.
There you go. There you go. There it is, man. This is another episode of 5 Minutes of TWiZ. Thank you for checking it out. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Certified Banger 100 TV. Make sure you follow us. You'll see all the information down below at TWiZerman56. Man, it's been another episode. If you got any comments or anything that you want us to talk about, please list them down there below. Send me a message, email me, let me know what's up. This is for y'all, you know what I'm saying? This is the things that we have learned, and we want to just give back by helping you guys out by dropping these gems. So make sure you stay tuned for the next episode. I appreciate y'all rolling with me, fellas.
Always, brother.
We out, man.
Bro, I love you.